I'm here with the adorable Nicholas looking at these interesting polyculture guilds that these are supposed to be California natives largely. I just took a bunch of pictures of these, but most of this is an oak grove. There's all kinds of oaks in this. And there are even these incredible acorn pounding rocks. Okay, I'm taking track of all of the plants that come together in this little guild right here. This is very interesting. We've got this Overstory tree that's an oak, and I don't know if you can see it, but there's some oak galls up there in the tree. And there's a little lime tree, actually a row of lime trees right here underneath the oak. And then there's a pine tree right here at the center of this island of plants. And underneath the pine tree, there's agave, and there's this little scrub oak that seems to have come up right next to the trunk right here. And it's underplanted with aloe. There's a whole bunch of different aloes. And then there are these absolutely spectacular Nopales cactus that are just huge. I mean, absolutely huge. So there was a yucca off the side of one of these guilds as well. And the Nopales are fruiting. They've got actually some, let me see if I can find one. I'm not sure what some of this underplanting is. Oh, there's a rose. Okay. Oh, most of this part is rose. Interesting. I'm not sure what this one plant is. But you can see right there, there's a couple of really nice sized fruits. Oh, and here are some cacti.
It looks to be a guild. I was kind of doubtful at first because I didn't look at it too hard. But it's all these different kind of cacti and aloe, agave plants, and so all these like really dry, drought-tolerant plants. And so here, all around us at the base of these, as like the bottom layer, there are a lot of roses. But if you look down here, we have really young start to what are these called?
They're Nopales.
Nopales. Isn't there another name for them?
Yes. Prickly pear.
Prickly pear, yeah. So we have the Nopales prickly pear. And I've never noticed this before. I've seen them around, but if you look at the base, they're like a hard, almost like an oak-like tree trunk. But what these are it reminded me how wood turns to stone, you know? But it's like these green fleshy bits turn to like this hard wood. And so as you follow it up, these are just the prickly pear pads that turn into this hard wood over time. And I've never seen that, or I've never noticed it. It's like a kind of petrification, but okay. And over here, we have these older plants that are these big mounds that create their own little insect ecosystems inside, which is really cool. So this whole place, there's spider webs everywhere. So this whole place feeds birds really nicely. So I'm going to try to escape out of here. Okay, so what do we have right here?
This is a big agave.
Yeah, so there are a couple of different types of agave on this one. Just keep walking around.
Yeah, there's this variegated agave. And
you get like a big view of it, you can really see how it turns into these pads here. How there's hardwood, but then they get into these soft green ones. And you can buy the pads. I've seen the pads sold in stores. I've never used the pads. I've had prickly pear, and it's really juicy with the seeds, or you can spit out the seeds and all that. So what's this whole little ground layer here?
This is the aloe.
More aloes?
Yes, lots and lots of little aloes. And we've got this succession of oak coming up because there's oak above, and then the pine, and then the Nopales. But this is either some kind of baby that's from an acorn that dropped, or it might be a scrub oak. It's very interesting. Wow, there's like strange seedy nutlets on things too. That's like, I don't know what all of this stuff is. Sometimes there's like unique little things. There's another little baby cactus coming up out of this. Oh, so we didn't see the barrel cactus that were around the other side.
Yeah, so really quick to point out just the basics of the guild is way up top we have the canopy layers, which are the oaks, and then just underneath that we have this pine. And the oaks produce the acorns and the tannins that you can use to tan leather, and then the pines produce pitch, which can be used in glues, and the pitch can also be used to heal wounds, as well as like help with fire and whatnot. And then, depending on the species of pine and how much work you want to go through to get the pine nuts from the cones, that's also a food source. And then with the prickly pear, I know you can eat the fruits, but you really have to process the spines off of them. And then you have the pads, which I know they're used for something, and I don't know what it is. And then all the way at the bottom, we have the aloe, which is used for various medicines. And then there's something over there kind of growing. I don't know what it is.
I think it's another one of these oak babies, because when you look at the leaves...
Yeah, it does look like that.
Yeah.
Yeah, so we have these various layers, and so this is this is the first time I've seen this, and it's super cool because it's this, it's an oak, an oak guild. It is. And it's, where are we right now? We're in Vacaville, and it's pretty dry out here. There's a reservoir. We're actually at a park somewhere in Vacaville in the southwestern corner. And the reservoir is all dried up.
There's a tiny little stream on the far side of this field over here. There's a little stream, and it looked black, but there was a big turtle in there.
Yeah.
So there is some good wildlife, some good edges.
So on this other side right here, you can see a whole bunch more roses. You can use the rose petals as medicine. You can use the rose hips as food. And like throughout here, you see more prickly pear. Right.
I found a flower. Is it? Okay, I'm not sure if this is a cut flower. Oh no, this is here. It's some kind of cone flower. Interesting.
And if you look at the debris in between all the plants, you can really see how much shade it creates. And so what it's doing is it's shading out the UV light from the sun, and it's allowing life to kind of thrive in there. And so I'm sure there's a whole bunch of lizards and insects and all kinds of cool stuff. And when it rains, it'll prevent water evaporation from all the soil, and it'll retain that moisture for a much longer period of time. So let's keep walking around here.
Okay. These are just such amazing little guilds. So, just real quick, I want to make sure that I get a good look at these yucca flowers.
Yeah, they're pretty thick. I had one once, and I don't remember enjoying it a whole lot.
Yeah, this is a beautiful one. Okay, so then I want to see if I can look at these. Oh, there's walnuts too. There's a bunch of like walnuts on the ground from some trees that are close nearby. So those are those. They look like saguaro, but I'm not exactly sure. So I'm going to see if I can do some research and figure that out. Okay, where else would you like to look?
So what's this right here?
This is, I think, another kind of oak, because like, oh wow. I don't know if these are oak galls or...
They look like fruits.
Yeah, they do look like fruits. Oh, yeah, let me see if I can get closer to look at this. Because, like, there's a bunch of them hanging right there. It'd be good if we could pull it apart.
Where am I going?
Good question. You could almost wax some of these off, because, like, you see these ones that are hanging over here? Yeah, I bet you could use that and get one. Nice. Okay, we'll see if we can dissect this.
So the video of our dissection got corrupted, but it turns out those nut-looking things were California Buckeye, Aesculus californica. So they are used as a soap, because they're so full of saponins, and they can be eaten, but they require an awful lot of processing to get through the saponins before they become like really edible. Here I have a bunch of pollinated clovers that have turned into these amazing little poof balls. And I've been looking at all the underplantings for this oak grove. So you can see there's a bunch of oak leaves all through here. And I don't see them right now, but the other things that I was noticing in this field were plantains and grass, along with these clovers and what looked to be some violets. So we did find some signposts to identify some of the things that we were not able to previously. Like, we found the signpost for the aster that I had said was that cone flower, so it's really nice that we were able to find out what that was. We also found some signposts for the sticky monkeyflower as well as the Seep monkeyflower, but we didn't find any that were alive. We didn't find any California fuchsia that was alive either, although we found the sign. I also neglected to mention that we found some wild grapes growing up some of the oaks that were over near the river where we found that turtle. That was really cool because they were growing so high up into the oaks, but it was very marginal, like on the edge of the field where they were growing. I think what we found was Vitis californica, but there is the possibility that it was Vitis giardiana. It was also really cool to see all the citrus that were just around in the fields. Like, this one even had a bird's nest in it. So even as we watch the water table go down and see more earth exposed while rivers run more and more dry, there's still hope for the kind of crops that you can grow that are like these extreme water savers. So when you're designing your own edible landscape, think about being as water wise as you can, because you can still have some amazing delicious treats growing in your yard for very low water usage.